Getting ready to go to Ecuador required lots of preparation, but nothing I could have done, read, looked at through photos or videos could have prepared me for the real place, the real beauty, and the children of Ecuador. How I missed them. Our group left Winstanley Baptist in Fairview Heights at 4:30 a.m. on June the 23rd, bound for St. Louis Airport. There were 13 of us in our group. We got on a plane for Miami. Once we arrived in Miami, we had a 7-hour wait to catch our next plane, bound for Ecuador. The time passed easily, and we even had fun. The next morning, we awoke in a Quito, Ecuador hotel, and we were amazed by the scenery. Absolutely amazed. Everywhere we looked, there was a new and beautiful sight. Ecuador is known for its beautiful flowers. Very quickly, it was time to board our buses and head for the Patate Valley to Camp Chicalco, where we would be serving. The scenery along the way speaks for itself.
And I've been lost in my own place, and I'm getting weary. How far is heaven? And I know that I need to change my ways of living. How far is heaven? Lord, can you tell me?
After a beautiful but very bumpy bus ride of about 4 hours, we arrived in Camp Chicalco. Camp Chicalco kind of reminded me of a western town, with it had bunkhouses and just kind of a western feel to it, which is not surprising since the missionaries that have lived there for 18 years, Steve and Carol Thompson, are from Texas. I'm going to take you on a little tour of our camp. This is the cafeteria or dining hall. This is our group waiting in line for dinner, which was always an adventure. And this is our group inside the cafeteria one of the last nights. This is one of our more interesting meals we had. It was called pink sponge on a bun, and we never really got full there. This is a sign for the dormitorio or bunkhouse. Here's one of our guys, Chris, inside the guys' bunkhouse. And here's some clowning around pictures of the girls inside our bunkhouse. They actually weren't bad. Kim and I take a break to lean up against the wall and drink some coffee. This was our multi-purpose area. It housed classrooms. It was where we had our worship in the morning and in the evening, and this is our wonderful mission team. This is Matt Glass, our worship leader, practicing before worship. This was one night in this building we had a block party, and Kim and I got to do some dancing. And in the evenings, for the few minutes of free time, some of the boys played basketball. At one end of the camp stood the Sentinel, the most amazing sight, Mount Tungurahua. It stood there smoking, rumbling, and sometimes at night we could see fire glowing at the top of it. It was such a presence, I won't forget it. At the base of our valley was a rushing river that you could go whitewater rafting on, and there, ever present, was Tungurahua. What is Infuge International? Infuge International is a Christian organization that allows teenagers 15 years of age and up a chance to do foreign mission work along with sponsors. Infuge helps do the planning and gives you a place to go and cuts out a lot of the red tape involved in such a trip. What is a typical international Infuge day like? Well, first of all, there are no typical days. You never know what's going to happen, especially in Ecuador. A day usually starts around 6 a.m. when you get up, go to breakfast by around 7 a.m. Breakfast is always a surprise. Then you go and have personal quiet time, and after that you go to Bible study either with the adult group or the teenage group, and the teenagers are led by the college students that lead Infuge worship and Bible studies. They are from colleges all over the United States. Then after that, your mission group that you have been assigned to will go to either construction in the morning with a break for lunch and then vacation Bible school in the afternoon, or the opposite schedule with vacation Bible school in the morning, a break for lunch, and then construction in the afternoon. After that, you have a brief period of quiet time, dinner, and then evening worship and some type of fun activity in the evening. We close the day with our church group devotions. The village names of Pingue, Ambato, La Paz, Sarmiento, Patate, Gamboa, all were foreign names to me when I first got to Ecuador. But after a week and listening to stories of the other people's times in their villages, they became near and dear, just like our own villages here. There were 8 mission groups at this particular camp in Ecuador, and I was assigned to Group 8. There was one other girl from our church, Margaret Garrison, that was also assigned to Group 8. It was decided that we would get to go to the village of Gamboa. Gamboa is a place where Steve Thompson, the missionary, was actually ran out of town, physically and verbally ran out of town. He had been, since this time, trying to make inroads back into this village, so it was a big deal that they had decided to allow us to come and do vacation Bible school there. Our group's morning job was to build a prayer garden there on the camp grounds, because the camp is used as a retreat for pastors in the area that need a place to come and just rest in such a beautiful spot and regroup and get ready to go back out and minister to the people of Ecuador. So our job, it was decided, would be to create a prayer garden, or at least begin one. We chopped down branches, we pulled weeds, we cleared a path, we painted trees with a special bug preventer. We did all kinds of physical labor. It was great. I enjoyed it. Finally, the day came that we actually got to make the trip up the mountain to the village of Gamboa. We made our trip up in pickup trucks that were the smaller size, and the way that we got up there was a trip in itself. We had to cross a river on a tiny bridge, and then we made our way up switchbacks. We were either standing or sitting in the back end of a pickup to get to our job. The drive wasn't very far, but it was very eventful for me because I'm scared of heights. When we finally got to the village, it was only about 15 minutes away. I was amazed. I was amazed at what the houses looked like. I was amazed at the area that the children called their school. Now, in Gamboa, the children have to go to school until they are in 6th grade. And when we got out of the truck the first day, the school area looked like a place that had long ago been deserted. There was a concrete playground that was smashed up concrete. It had a layer of trash and broken glass all the way around, and there were 2 concrete block buildings on either side of this playground. When we unloaded, the first thing I noticed that there was no children, no one. It looked like a ghost town. It was like the Old West again. We get out and there's no one there. I expected a tumbleweed at any time to roll across the town. One of our interpreters ran up to a 2nd-story home and started ringing the school bell. And we got around the parachute that we used, and our interpreter was like, shake the parachute, they're here but they're hiding. So we all stand around in a circle and shake the parachute, and after what seemed like a long time but wasn't, 2 little bitty tiny Ecuadorian children came out, and they went around the circle where we were shaking the parachute and shook hands with each one of us with such polite manners and said, Buenos dias, buenos dias, buenos dias, to each one of us around the circle. And then they joined us. Slowly but surely, 2 more came, and 2 more came, and then a group of 3. Until the first day we had about 45 children. It was wonderful. After playing with the children for a while, we went inside one of their school buildings, and with an interpreter, we told a Bible story, we did crafts, we sang songs, and had a great time. Each day it got a little better. More children came. Parents started coming. Grandmothers even came. And by the end, It was the whole family that was there. The most amazing thing happened, though. On the last day when we got back to Camp Chicalco, our missionary Steve said that the village of Gamboa had sent a delegation to come and talk to him, and that they wanted to learn more about Jesus, and that they wanted to have Steve come and start a Bible study in their village. So that was wonderful. The children of Gamboa were incredibly polite, well-mannered, patient, loving. They just were happy with anything that we did with them. They were thrilled, actually, and so were their parents. Another thing about Ecuador is that we really never got a full stomach the whole time we were there. We never really had very big portions of food, and we did just fine. It's amazing how much we eat as Americans and what the Ecuadorian people are used to and very happy with. Do I think the trip to Ecuador affected my own children, Zachary and Caitlin? Absolutely. I think they saw firsthand how fortunate they are to live in the United States, where you don't have to think about things like, is the electricity going to go out today, or will we have hot water? And the portions of food, which were so small in comparison to our supersized meals in the United States. And yet, the Ecuadorian children are happy, happier than a lot of American children. Since we returned 2 weeks to the date after we arrived back in the United States, the sentinel of our camp, Tungurawa, erupted and has erupted another time since then. There is at least one dead and many people without homes. Their crops and animals have been lost, and things are covered with ash there, and it's possible that Tungurawa, which means throat of fire, will erupt again. Please pray for the people of Ecuador. Now I'm just going to leave you with photos of the children and of the time there.
Eternal God, unchanging, mysterious and unknown. Your boundless love, unfailing in grace and mercy shown. Bright seraphim in endless flight around your glorious throne. They raise their voices day and night in praise to you alone. Hallelujah, glory be to our great God. Hallelujah, glory be to our great God. Lord, we are weak and frail, helpless in the storm. Surround us with your angels, hold us in your arms. Our cold and ruthless enemy, his pleasure is our harm. Rise up, O Lord, and he will flee before our sovereign God. Hallelujah. and valley.